So welcome again to the nah-see exchange. We are here again for another insightful dialogue. So brother, I feel like this one today is gonna be a good one, an interesting one. So I people join the exchange. Make comment down below about this topic. We are gonna be talking about what it is to be the change agent for your family. You're the one that is changing like your generation or your family dynamics. We're going to be talking about that and what that is and delve a
What
little
that
bit.
actually means and what
Yeah,
that actually
and
looks like.
delve a little bit more into it. Should be a very interesting discussion. I think because I think a lot of you that are our viewers, you are that for your family. You might be that for your family. You might be the first to go to college, the first to, you know, have a really good job, the first to be
First to get
married
married,
and stay married, and you know what I'm saying? Even though even little things, the first one to own a home. That some people might say that's small, but that's for some people are huge.
some families that's huge.
That's huge. The first one. So we're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna explore that a little bit and talk. So please comment, subscribe, or if you desire to be the first in your family, we're gonna be talking about that today. So welcome to the nah-see exchange. And my this is Trina, and I'm here with
Charles,
my brother.
Charles,
Yes. And you know what we say every week. If you're nasty, or you can't see what we are talking about, clean up your heart and come and let us talk about it. Because that's where you start. When we can come, be vulnerable, and have a discussion, even though we might disagree, we can maybe agree to disagree in the end. All right. So let's start. So let's talk about what it means. What does it mean to be the change agent?
because I've seen the memes online, like people post say, "Oh, I will be the first in my family to own a house," or "I'll be the first in my family to worth $1 million." I'll be the first. Like people always have those memes up, but you know, like what does it really mean? Because as we say in the intro or the opening, it could be something as simple as just owning a house.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as be the first one to get a PhD, like complete school.
First one to go
You
to
understand?
college.
And you understand the first one in your family to complete school because some people, their parents never completed school. They've
Yeah.
been working all their lives, but they have never actually completed high school.
Yeah. Can you
So,
imagine?
so if, yeah, and
And
it's
then even just to complete high school, you're the first one to even have go to a college and get a college degree, like just a bachelor's degree. Worse if you move on to have a master's or a PhD, you know, first one to do that. Even today, you could be the first one to have a visa to travel anywhere,
you understand? Like the
to
first
go
one in your family
see
to
something
travel.
else, something different.
So for everybody, it means being, and for a lot of people, it's like breaking whatever cycle is that's in
Yeah.
your family. So it may be a cycle of poverty, a cycle of illiterateness, cycle of dysfunctional relationships, like first to get married, as I said before. So it's like breaking that cycle. It's about being the one in your family in this generation to make a change that you hope you would pass on to your further generations, your kids, and whatever to come. So
Right.
when I see those memes, that's what it means. I want to be the one to break whatever the cycle is, whatever the
Right.
curse, as I said, generational curses, whatever that is. I'm going to be the one. It could be mental health, like the first one to take care of my health, whatever. Being the first one to break that
Or
cycle.
if you, or even if you have a family that like addiction is rampant, whether it's
Yeah,
drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever addiction, gambling addiction, and you're hell bent to be like, you know what, this is
I'm
not
not going
gonna
to be me.
be, this is not gonna be
Not going to
me.
be me.
I'm gonna do something different. So in just saying that, then we're basically saying that it's more than just money, because a lot of times when we talk about being the person to make a difference, I think a lot of
Always
focus
tied back to
is
finance.
always tied back to money. Like, you know, having a lot of, you know, money so that you can
Or
help
access.
or access to money or whatever, so that you can financially help. But it's more than it's more than about money. Yeah.
Because sometimes you will have, because here's the thing, you hardly ever see somebody like with this goal, like I want to be the first person in my family to resolve conflicts properly. I've never seen that anywhere.
Yeah.
Because you will have a family dynamic where things pop off between your mother, your auntie, uncle, whatever, and they just talk about it, mumble, but they never fix it.
Mm.
You understand? So family reunions become awkward. You understand?
Family anything become
Family
awkward.
anything always becomes strained. You understand? You grow up to dislike your auntie or your uncle, or you're not dealing with their cousin, they are whatever. And sometimes what happens to you, will have kids that are very close cousins, good friends, and then because of the issue with the older set,
Yeah.
breaks the relationship with the younger set. But how many people be like, yo, let me be the one to break this cycle?
Yeah, and like you said, like it
You
could
understand?
be a
It's
cycle of
always more about getting the bag, yeah, making the money.
right, and it could be like that. It could be the opposite of what you said in terms of, because what you're describing is like a pattern of avoidance, where when we don't talk about issues, we just go behind one at the back and we quarrel and mumble and and we have a peep in our heart, and we're not, and we pretend like we're okay, and we sweep everything under the rug, but it's not okay, right? And you have this huge elephant in the room that everybody is avoiding and acting like it's not there. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have where people have knocked down, drag out fights, where them talk but them are gonna shoot up and kill and chop up, and you're thinking like, yo, whoa, wait, what is that? That's your sister. You know that's your sister, right?
Yeah,
Me no,
that's your
me no
mother. That's your dad.
business. Me chop him up and me send gunman go for him, man. And you're like, but you have the same mother, or the same dad. Like you guys grew up in the same house. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? There's such dysfunction, or even where people don't talk about like, okay, this one was abused and this one was abused, and nobody's talking about it. It's running right through the family. It's making its way like a virus straight through. Nobody's talking
Grandma,
about it.
mother, daughter.
Mental illness is going on. Nobody's talking about it. It's all these things that
Because even the one is like, I'm gonna be the first one to go to college. It's still about money. It's about going to college so you can get the degree, so you can get the job, so you can make the money. You understand? It's still coming back down to money. I'm going to be the first one to own a house. Again, I have to make money. You understand? I'm going to be the first one with the PhD. You have to make money, so you can get the PhD. So a lot of these, where you see pop up most times and most people will have, is always related back to the finances, but you hardly hear about the ones that are like, I'm going to be the one to mend my family.
yes, to mend these broken pieces that's there in terms of the relational component of, you know what, I am not gonna participate in this dysfunction. And but here's what, and this is gonna segue into the other thing that we have to talk about. Breaking generational patterns, it takes a lot of work, and that's the part that we oftentimes, when they talk about, if you're gonna build a house, you have to count the cost, so that in the middle of building your house you don't run out of money. You're just like, you're scratching your head like, oh my god, like, I don't have any roof, I don't have a bathroom, I don't, we just reached the foundation and we put up the steel columns, and now we are run out of money. You have to count the cost, you have to know what it's gonna take. And I feel like one of the things that we don't get, because getting money, getting house, like those are all external things, those are very external things, right? But when you come out of a certain type of system, because what your family is, because like in family therapy they talk about family systems, and we all come out of a family system. And it doesn't matter, because some people also think that, oh, I them over there, so them not have nothing to do with me. I am over here now with my family and my kids and my this and my that, and my dysfunctional family is over there. But you know what? But you know what is happening? You have some invisible threads. It's almost like
Great. And
invisible threads
learn behavior.
that is connecting you to them over there. Those invisible threads. So you could run and you could live in the darkest parts of the world, and you're still connected to them. Why? Because of those invisible threads. And those invisible threads are pretty much what psychologists and the people who do family therapy, it's your family dynamics, your family of heritage. There are certain things that you've learned and they have taught you in that family how to handle conflict. How do you even think? All those things you've learned from your family of origin,
How to
and
love.
how to love, how to care for people, like how do you see the world, all that comes through your family of origin. So
So,
you can
so
run, but
what
you're still
happens where you end up
attached
is you try to run from the chaos, but end up creating the same chaos in your own
in your
family.
own house, and you're like, what the world is going on?
Yeah, and you feel
But
so you break the cycle because probably you think say the chaos that was in your
Mhm.
family stemmed from lack of resources, again, finances.
Yep.
But now that you have the finances, the problem should be fixed.
Yeah.
But
You have the college degree, you have the house, you have the car, you have the money, but you're still like this thing. It's like this thing that's just
exactly,
this,
and
it's almost, it's like at your back. It's just there.
a
Ominous.
lot of people when they have the concept of I'm going to be the first in my family, it's about them and their immediate family, meaning them and the children that they're
And
going to
yeah,
have
their husband, their wives, and their kids.
and their kids. But I think when you have that philosophy of you want to be the change or be the first, because not change, but we need to change it from change to from first to change. Because when you want to be the first in your family, some people just take that, be the first in one house, and that's it. They do not then turn around and try to teach your cousin, your sister, whoever, that external person that is still family, how to achieve a house.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I hear you, but when you come from a dysfunctional dynamic, it is very like even the smallest of interaction, when you come from a family of
True.
dysfunctional people, it is going to trigger you so much. The next thing you know, you're just like, I'm not helping these people, because they trigger you, number one, and then all the stuff that you're running from, it is still there because it's they're still them, and all of that is still there. So once you in it's like once you connect with them, it's like when you connect live wire, like once you connect, it just boom.
So, but wait, so
But
what happens is that so what you end up having is you then have to become the ground,
hold on, how do
and
you do that?
that's a lot of self work though,
My
because
brother, no, that we are,
because you
that
cannot
is
be
it.
triggered because you have to
That is
learn
it.
that when you go back to your family to then teach them how to achieve where you are help them or try to guide them as how to. Just get them it, because we are talking about the hands out here. It's how then because it's not only as I say, you're moving from being the first to being the change. So how can you be the change in your family? So
Mhm.
if your family has been traditionally poor, how can you now learning to acquire wealth
But
now
here's the thing.
empower
But
everybody else?
if you take it outside, if you take it outside of the wealth aspect, and like you said, not the first, but change, because even people who are wealthy, their
They have some
family
problems
can
too.
be dysfunctional
It's
as hell.
functional as hell.
So yes, you have the money, but you also are very dysfunctional. So now, yeah, you're not the first one to have a house or have a good job or all this stuff, right? But you are the first one to actually have a changed mindset and
And
have and
good
actually
mental health.
invest in having good relationships with other people around you, in having peace and harmony and stuff like that in your life that money can't buy. So let's go back to when the first thing I said in terms of when it comes to change and the family system. It has to be an inside out process. You can't start this change work by saying I'm going to change them. Like the mission is I'm going over there and I'm going to bring the gospel of me to them because they need it. Actually no, what you need to do in my opinion is you need to fix you. You have to fix you. And a lot of times we run from that work. So you're just like, so you have minimal contact with your family. You don't talk to them maybe once a year, twice a year, whatever. Are you put up so much boundaries or barriers between you and them? But the thing about it is boundaries are good, but you boundaries have to be healthy boundaries. You can't just avoid people and that you think that's a boundary. That is,
A lot of
yeah,
people
it's a
do that though,
boundary, but it's an unhealthy
especially with
one.
family.
Yeah, a lot of people do that, especially family. You just lock them out. I don't talk to them, like, maybe once a year or something.
When a
Or,
funeral or look,
you
you probably
know,
know more funeral. You might meet up and be like, hi.
and at least a good thing, like they say something to you and you're just triggered on it, I know there's a cussing and feelings and all this stuff. Like the work is in the beginning is to change you, because
Like you
that
said,
system that you were when you're in the womb and you marinate in the system, you grew up in the system. Yes, now you're an adult. You that it is like a it's like the in your internal mechanisms, that just that automatic thing that it comes from your family of origin. So now you have to literally take time. Just like when you go to school to study so that you can become the lawyer, doctor, and Indian chief, right? You know have to take time to do the work on a personal level, the inside out part. Whether it's reading some self-help books about how to
go
heal
to therapy.
yourself, or you need to like go to counseling.
And also too, when you have gotten that healthy, we have made like a improve and more healthier version of yourself. One of the things that we have also learned is when to walk away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because some people also trying to be the change, the first or the change in your family, they don't know when to walk away.
Yep.
So you build yourself up, but then you see your family will help tear you right back down because you don't know how to create that healthy boundary, that no, and when you just realize like I can't help you, you have to whoever your brother whoever have to just face his own consequences. Your mother even
Yeah.
just have to face their own consequences. Because I remember something that I read. This lady was having an issue with her mother, and like, cause she has her own family, married, whatever, and her mother would call her and be like, "Daughter, how is it? What's going?" And she's like, "Ah, mom, oh yes, everything's good. I'm busy." And the mother's like, "Oh, you're too busy for me. I say go. I raised you and all of that, and I was never busy for you, but now you're busy for
No, you
me.
don't have any
There you go, you have
time.
your life, you live." And it's like a guilt trip, but now the daughter is like, "No, no, no, no." And granted, she probably have all these towards to do for her kids and her husband and her PR family, but she put that all aside to comfort her mother. And it's like that. You have to, when you become healthier, know when to create a boundary to be like, no, you have to know. So being the change, because you can't swing to the pendulum. You can either one, you create the walls, and you don't deal with them, or two, you're the too far over the other side and you just give too much. You just
No,
you
but
just
here's my
give
thing.
too much.
both things that you've described are dysfunctional,
Yes.
right? So when you do the work, which is the inside out work, a part of what is going to happen is you will learn how to have and create healthy boundaries with your family. You will also understand what it is when you just accept people for right where they are. You just accept them. So no, I'm not going to fight with you, or I'm not going to be upset with you. It's almost like you're upset with a snake for being a snake. A rattler is a rattler. You can't just go pet a rattlesnake. You should know better. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like those things. Like, you have a mom that maybe is a very critical person, and I read this book and by Dr. Cloud, and he talks about safe people, right? Maybe your parents, they are not safe people. So then why would you go and allow yourself to be vulnerable to this person that is unsafe? And then 2 weeks down the line, the very thing that you were so vulnerable to tell them, they use it and come back and just clutch you with over your head. So now you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just told them all these vulnerable things and they just used it and they weaponized it against me. Your mom was always like that. They have never changed. But when you become healthy as a person, you know that about, let's say, your mom, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle. So on that level, you know how to have healthy boundaries with them. You know that, yo, my sister is a thief. No, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And so
true.
why would you then
Why
give your
then you would
sister a
give them
key to
money?
your house?
Yeah, that's I give them money to put up.
Nope. You're a thief. We know this. I know this. You know this. Or
I
you're
love
a
you, sis, but
or
no.
you're a liar. We all know that you tell lies. You like fibs. Or let's say even something like that. You have poor money management skills. Now, why would I give you $100,000 to go put down somewhere? Chances are when I come back for that money, well, I say, why?
But but you see, all right. And I think one of the issue is when you everybody wants to have a positive impact on themselves, the immediate family, and then to some levels your external family. When you do that work and you become that better person, what will happen is that, or what I think, what the optimum thing is for is the type of legacy that you're gonna leave. It's like because we everybody that has or you watch these black sitcoms or family movies or whatever, like Soul Food, for example.
Mm,
You have what do they call it, matriarch of the family.
yeah, big mama.
When that person, yeah, big mama, when that person goes, that absence is
It's almost,
felt.
yeah, that absence is absolutely felt.
A lot of people, if how many people strive to be
Right. And
that
that is
healthy.
more than money. That is
Yes, that
way
is more
more
than
than
money.
money.
Being that healthy individual, be that person where people can talk to, be that person where can solve disputes, be that person that when you're gone, you are missed.
Yeah.
So when you
Even
say you want to be the first in your family,
yeah.
how about that? How much people work for that actual ideal? Because a lot of
Right.
people, as I say, it's about the bag. Yeah, you get the bag, and you might be the one where send your niece to school, buy your nephew this brand new shoe, whatever. You know, be that auntie will send all these things from foreign. But when you're dead,
Just gonna be like, my ATM
not
is
really missed
gone.
though.
I need to
People
find
just
a new
tolerate you
one.
because you provided the bag, you provided the money. A lot of these family members won't probably even like you.
Mm.
But you understand? And a lot of times too, with a lot of people, and it comes right back to the dysfunction, because again, they're dysfunctional. I don't say this is more than money. When you become the person with the bag, you then try to force yourself on the rest of the family to be that patriarchal person, to be that it, and you always have your opinion. You
Oh yeah.
sister, your
Oh, and
children
you
should not
better
be
do
doing
this.
that, or
You
da da
better
da da.
do that, and
Like
you better.
you force yourself in that position, but you're not really loved or respected. You're tolerated
You're
because you
tolerated.
provide finances.
Yep.
And
Versus,
I think a lot of people, when, as I said, when you have that concept in your head of being the change, a lot of people don't go that deep in it to see like what does that really mean.
yeah. So like, if you should die tomorrow, it's almost like, like them. So them, you suck the air out of the room, and everybody's just like, oh my god, like Sister Mary is gone. Like, oh, like the family in itself is weeping because you're like, we miss you so much. And it's more than just about the financial part of it. Like, yeah, helping your family financially. And there's some of your family members that you probably never interact with them one on one, but just the way your life is and the way you live and the way you move, like you are an inspiration to them. And they've
They
never
hear
met
about you.
you. Like,
They
even
hear
think
about
about it in how okay, think about it in like the aspect of, like, let's say Martin Luther King Jr. Like, generations after that man died, his "I Have a Dream" speech and that legacy that he left behind, in terms of people like, we are aspiring for that thing, that and it's not like Martin Luther King was like a Bill Gates. He wasn't like a Jeff Bezos. I promise you, if he was, though, with all that money he had, he would have done a whole bunch of stuff for the black community. But it was just about, like, that energy and that thing that he had, you know what I'm saying? Like, to where people looked at him and like, yo, we want to be better, we want to do better, he inspired you to want to change. He inspired you to want more for, you know what I'm saying? It's like a inspirational hope and change type of thing. Did that mean that he was perfect? Hell no. He wasn't perfect. He probably drank and was womanizing. I don't know what you know what I'm saying? But because nobody's perfect. But it's like, they tried in everything that he tried, though, in how he did and how he lived his life and interacted with people. He just tried to, like, exemplify that inside out work that we're talking about, you know what I'm saying? Like, that man did that. And so, like, he was able to inspire a whole bunch of people. And maybe that's just a oversimplification, but I'm just using that example to say, how about you be the Martin Luther King Jr. for your family?
instead of
You
just
know,
more than just being the first to get a house.
and it's more than just like a financial thing, but it takes you doing the work. Like, you have to do the work that is required for your personal development. It starts with you and personal development and personal growth. And so that your family can see that, yo, it's a Nikki change certain things before, like if them call you and "Hey," and blah and blah, and them call you and you're like, well, no. Or instead of, because like, they have a thing called triangulation that'll happen in all the families. So I have a problem, I call you and I'm complaining to you about, let's say, our brother, because our brother offended me, so I'm calling you, and me and you and this and that. I don't know, we haven't spoken to our brother yet. Or, so in the maybe in the past you'd have joined in because you don't like him neither. But now when they come to you, you're like, okay, so did you go talk to him already? What did he say? No, I'm not chat. Okay, then we have nothing to talk about, because
Or better
the end
yet,
goal is fixing
or
it.
better
The
yet,
end goal is having good relationships. So you're not gonna come here and do this when you've not done that.
and then
Or,
are you gonna be like, oh, be like, okay, let's call him.
yeah, let's call our brother so that we can fix it. So the goal is not to sit here and have a it is, no, let's fix it. But because you see, when people buck up against that, they do one of two things. they're either going to change or they just know, well, Charles is not the one for me to bring this to because he's not going to have it. He's not going to entertain it.
In the end, as I say, you want to be not the first, but the change,
The
and then you want
change.
to leave the legacy.
Yeah.
Understand? So when the day will come that you will too will die of old age, hopefully. When you die, your kids, your niece and nephews, your cousins' kids, they're gonna be like, yo, Auntie Trina just dead, and like it is felt as a loss
Yeah.
in that family makeup. So,
Family
so it's not
dynamic.
only that Trina was the first to get a degree, that not only she was the first to get a house, it was not she was only the first to get 1 million, but she was that for your family.
Yeah. And
I
you're
think,
almost, it's almost like, you become the glue. I know you're teaching the ones that coming behind you how to do the same.
yep,
Yeah. And that's changing the legacy and the dynamics.
yep. So
And,
that's
and then,
so
you can't force it on people, but if you are that, when they, because you have to clash and and interact and stuff like that, but it's just during your interaction that something of you will rub off on them. It will make a deposit, because sometimes, let me say, and I see them there leaf drop out
stuff in the
upon water
water.
rotten, so you don't know, just them
So
interacting
this
with you.
change, so the change probably will not happen like between like you and your brother and your sister.
Yep.
But as I said, the change probably filter down to your kids and
Yep.
their kids, and they end up having a different relationship
Yep.
that you had with
or
your
even or even years
siblings or
later
cousins or
or
whatever.
even years later, something that you've said or how you've done it, you might just come back to that and you're like, oh, this is what. Oh, because I know at my age now, I'm looking back at some things that, I had relatives who impart certain things, or just even being around them and see the way they move. I'm like, oh, I understand now. I see this now. I get, you know what I'm saying? And that's an indirect way of influencing. And I think that's the word, being able to influence change. It's not that you're
Yeah,
going to go in
positive
there and
influence.
order people around and you better do this and you better do that, because that's being controlling. You can't go control grown ass people, but you can influence
Positive
and
influence.
it positive and have a positive influence on the system, to have a positive influence on the system, so that that change can come. It might slow, but that change can come.
Change gonna come.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, any final words?
No, for me, that's it. Because I've said I've seen the memes. I've seen it once or twice. You're just scrolling the internet, you're gonna see it. I want to be the first to have 1 million, and I was always wondering, like, it's much deeper than that. So
Mom,
that was it for me. The
Mom
conclusion is like,
Teresa.
yo, it's more than just being the first to have.
Yeah.
Also be the first to change, and also be the first to influence
Yeah.
positive change.
Like, listen, Mom Teresa never had a dime to her name, but that lady was a positive change agent. Positive change agent. Never had a dime to her name. And I'm just saying that we can be that for our families.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gonna take personal growth and development to change the family system in your mind and heart that's already been deposited in you from you were like in the womb. You have to start with you. You have to start with you. And the car and the house and the education, that's only one aspect of it. But you have to go further in personal development and personal healing of those traumas and wounds and all that stuff that you have. Your preconceived notions of things. You know what I mean? All of us have preconceived notions of things. Maybe you need to forgive some people. Maybe you just need to let some things go. All I'm saying is it begins with you, because the healing has to start with you. Your healing has
So,
to start with you. And once
so
you are healed, then you can know. go step back into the fray.
and be the
Because now,
positive,
yeah, because
be the
now
positive
you have
change
healthy
agent.
boundaries. You have very healthy boundaries. You know when to hold and when to fold and when to go forward and when to
So
not. And you know.
the thing is, now I would like to see, like in the comments, people could probably how much people in their goal to be the first in their family probably realize this, or if having this conversation, you listen to this now, you'll
Mhm.
probably realize something that you never realized before.
Yeah,
Like
tell us in the
this,
comments.
like to know, like what have you realized from your own journey as now being probably the first in your family, with
And
the dynamic
sometimes,
of your family, to
and
see what happens.
sometimes you don't even set out to be the first, or you don't even set out to be that change agent. It just happened that you are. And so now that you realize that you are from listening to this conversation, now you
Share
have a
your
now
experience.
what are you gonna do next? Are
Share
you
your
gonna
thoughts
take
and
up this
experience.
responsibility? Or are you just gonna be like, well, they got to figure it out. Peace out. All right, guys, join the exchange. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, tell us your thoughts. And again, help us to get to 1,000 subscribers, y'all. We would love to have
Share.
1,000 subscribers. Share, 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 and most of all, tell us what you think. And yeah, we'll see you next time on the
The next one.
nah-see exchange. Peace out.